Karen throws small wine rack on the ground because I ordered it. Hello Ray died. I'm Belgian, so if I make any mistakes I'm sorry. A little context first. Every year on the second Sunday of June it's Father's Day. For Father's Day I ordered and paid for a small wine rack with 6 wines in it online. So on to the story. Names are changed obviously. Characters. Karen, 40-year-old woman without Karen haircut. Josh, a male employee in the store. Sarah, female employee in the store and friend of mine. Good guy Brian, Brian for short. Store owner me. Guess who? The store I ordered it is a regular line and a reserved line. The regular line usual. You get in after you took your stuff off the shelves. The reserved line is for people who ordered something online. This so they can get their stuff without having to wait in line. So the regular line was pretty long, 7 people, but the reserved line was free. So having ordered and paid online I set myself in the reserved line. This did not sit well with a Karen. Karen, sir, you have to wait in the back of the line. Me, no I don't. Karen cuts me off. Karen, yes you do it against the law. Me, oh no here we go Mom, I've ordered online and cuts me off again. Karen, I don't care what you did or who you were, you have to wait in the back of the line like everyone else looking around for support. No one was with her. By this time the Josh saw what was happening and tried to explain to Karen what was happening. Didn't really pay attention to the conversation but she was off my back. So I give Sarah my order number. She goes to the back, comes back with my package and I go home happy. I wish that happened. But this would not be a good one if it did though. So here's what happened. During the time that I gave my order and she got back with my package, the other employee was done explaining things to Karen. Don't know if he gave up or if Karen brushed him off in the end. But I get my package, turn around and see Karen storming to me. Takes my package out of my hands, I was a bit surprised how strong she was, and throws it on the ground. The wine rack foot was bent and 4 of the 6 bottles broken. Karen, then now you have to get a new one and stand in the back of the line like everyone else. Me, dumbfounded. Sarah, WTF takes phone. Yeah Brian, can you come to the counter, we have a situation. Karen, well what are you waiting for, go get your stuff and get in the back of the line. Starts to go back to her place. Me, what is wrong with you woman? Karen, what is wrong with you young man? You cannot cut in line. It's against the law. Meanwhile Brian arrives. Brian separates us both and gets our statements. Apparently according to her I cut in line and when she was stopping me threw the wine rack to her. Then Brian goes away for a sec to check the camera footage. No changing Karen's face though. Comes back following conversation goes, Brian, Mom, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store. Karen, why I didn't break the law. Heated, pointing at me. Why should I leave? I haven't even paid for my stuff. Brian, PLZ, leave the store or police will be called. Karen, call them. They will say I'm in my right. Brian sighs, takes out a cell phone and dials the police. A few moments pass by and the police come. Take statements from me, Karen and Brian. Karen went again with the throw the wine rack. Police go to the back of the room for the camera footage. Come back and escort her in cuffs to the police car. The whole time she was yelling this is against the law. I was in my right. You can't do this. What about him? One of the police comes over and technically what she did is assault. Do you want to press it in charges? Me, hell yes. Then let me sign a paper with my statement and wish me a happy day further. The owner of the store replaced the wine rack with another one they still have in the store. But this one was with more expensive wine. Mine was €80 in total. This one was €95. But didn't charge for the extra €15. Karen tries to use my mother to get free breakfast. This happened a few months ago. English is not my main language, so I apologize in advance for any mistakes I may commit. Cast: Karen, awful, entitled, nosy woman. KD, Karen's daughter, not entitled at all. M, my mom. D, my dad. B, as myself, of course, I was more of a silent spectator. No. G, the manager. W, the waitress. Me and my parents like to go out to have breakfast every Sunday, or that's what we did before COVID-19, and on the particular day, we were in one of our favorite restaurants, located in a mall, without suspecting what was going to happen. My mom ordered a club sandwich, and just before she took the first bite, she noticed something was out of place. Among the salad was a blue wire, the kind that is wrapped in plastic and used in bread bags to keep them closed. She quickly called our waitress and explained the situation in a very discreet way. The waitress apologized, took the plate away, offered to bring her a free courtesy dish and said she would talk to the manager. Thinking back, maybe the word free was what made Karen notice this. Right next to our table was a woman, Karen, and her daughter, KD. When the waitress went away, Karen suddenly began to talk to us. Karen, that was awful, they should have been more careful. You could have choked if you had eaten that. Joking, good thing I noticed before I started eating. Yes, maybe the cooking staff should have paid more attention while serving, but we weren't particularly angry about it. Mistakes happen and Sunday morning is always a bussy time of that place and, as my mother said, no one got hurt, so he just let it slide. Karen, on the other hand, proceeded to complain as if the wire had been at her plate instead of my mom's. She told us about this time someone she knew, friend, sister, I don't remember, found a nail in their plate at another restaurant and sued the place. Doubt it was true. I feel like she was trying to impress us. My parents were acting polite, just playing along, probably thinking Karen was just a concerned woman. I was silent for the most part of it, wishing she would just fill while I noticed that Karen's daughter was silent as well and that she had this expression of absolute misery in her face. Now that I think about it, it was a signal that Karen usually displayed that behavior quite often. The manager finally came and, because of the fuss Karen was making, thought she was the one who had the problem and apologized to her. The waitress corrected him and then he talked to my mother. Manager, we are very sorry, please feel free to order whatever you want free of cost. I'd like to have her another club sandwich, please. K. No, you should order something more expensive. They committed a mistake, you deserve it. KD. Quietly, Mom, please, stop. Getting mad at Karen, a club sandwich is fine, thanks. The waitress and the manager retired. We thought that was all, but we were wrong. Karen still complained about what had happened and, in a not-so-quiet or discreet manner, basically said that my mother was stupid for not taking an opportunity when provided. K. If it had been me, I would have sued this place for endangering my life. KD. Slightly raising her voice, Mom, please, just stop. That didn't even happen to you. Eventually, the waitress came back with my mom's sandwich and at that point, my dad and I were angry and wanted to tell Karen to stop with her complaining and bad-mouthing, but my mom insisted we ignored her and tried to enjoy our breakfast the best we could. Karen and her daughter finished eating and, finally, went away. We sighed with relief, thought that this was over and would have some peace. But no. Again, we were wrong. W. To my father, shyly, excuse me sir, could you come with me, please? D. Is there something wrong? W. We just need you to clear a misunderstanding. D. If this is because of my wife's incident, there's no problem from our part. We understand it was an accident, do not worry. W. Looking extremely embarrassed, yes, is because of that there's this woman with the cashier, claiming to be the Mrs. my mom's sister and requesting an old bill for herself in your behalf. My dad practically stormed out. My mom asked me to follow him and so I did, just in time to see Karen yelling at the cashier, a young woman, and the manager trying to calm the situation. Karen, my sister and I have agreed to sue this place because your irresponsibility nearly killed her. You put a piece of wire in her plate and still want me to pay for my meal. D. That's enough. You've been disrespectful to my wife and the ladies, the waitress and the cashier. You are the worst kind of person and are in no way related to you. Stop lying and pay your bill already. My dad is the kind of person who rarely gets angry, and when he does, he gets extremely serious, so I was really surprised to see him like that. I want to clarify that he isn't a violent person, but I had never seen him yelling at someone like that before. I also noticed that Katie was crying right behind Karen, talking to her cell phone, and couldn't help to be sorry for her because honestly, she did nothing wrong and her only fault was having Karen as a mother, something that she couldn't have chosen. Looking back, I wish I had approached to tell her I knew none of this was her fault, that I noticed she tried to cover her mother and we didn't blame her for anything. Meanwhile, another waiter arrived with the mall's security. They made sure Karen paid her bill, then escorted her outside, with her poor daughter following from afar. The manager apologized again and because of the incident with Karen cancelled our bill. Despite this, my parents and I agreed to leave half of our total bill as a tip because the staff was in no way responsible for our bad experience and they suffered from it too. Still, I doubt we will return to the same restaurant out of embarrassment or, as we say in my country, cupid pena. My uncle tried to negotiate or steal phones from my house. So recently, my uncle broke his phone and was forcefully upgraded to an iPhone 6 Plus as that was the only spare phone my auntie had. But as he has been using Samsung for a really long time and can't understand how Apple works. So yesterday, as he was over for a visit as my dad has been going through radiotherapy, he asked if we have any spare phones. I had my iPhone XR as a spare as I was using my iPhone 7 as a calling phone and my iPhone 6 as a mobile gaming device. His face cringed at the sight of my iPhone XR but his eyes twinkled at the sight of my mom's slightly spoiled Samsung S9. He told me to let him see the phone as he tried to play around with the phone. Once he saw why my mom had to use her spare phone, screen too bright and turned greenish, he saw my dad's phone and said this, "Man, your dad doesn't need his phone since he's now disabled." My dad was in the room when he said that and I knew my dad had a wave of anger that would last over a few weeks so I just said my dad still needs his phone, his checkups are updated through his phone and his friends still contact him so you can't have his phone. End of discussion. Luckily, my mom was around when he asked about the phones but he did try to complain to her today. My mom just told him, "You want a new phone, then sign up for a proper line with my country 3 known phone carriers, then you can get a new phone every 21 months. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you on next video.